This is the Stubborn German Podcast. I'm Kevin Ostie, coming to you from the Stubborn German Brewing Company here in delightful and springtime Waterloo, Illinois. Not very far from the St. Louis Metro. If you want to come visit, we encourage that. And the Stubborn German Brewing Company is, I don't know what the actual verb is, proprietored by Mr. Chris Ron. Always joins us on the cast. Welcome.
Well, hello, Kevin. It's good to see you.
Good to see you and be seen. And our esteemed producer, Mr. Jared Chasson.
Good, lovely evening to you.
Yes, and...
thank God you're back.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
For that. That's what I was thinking. I missed this place. And Mr. Rick Kleinschmidt, welcome back.
All right, thank you, guys. Happy to be back on Behind the Mic.
Good to see you.
Now, is Rick our first three-time guest?
Well, it's only been two, but...
No, he was here on 2 episodes. We split it in one night.
Yeah, we split it in one night.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right, we did.
It was one night.
If you're
Behind the
listening at
scenes,
home-
Chris.
Yeah, see, I don't...
Yeah.
I just sat here, so... Okay,
So
so
welcome
then, yes,
back.
3 times. Good job.
Yeah, I
You
saw.
win.
Yeah, do I get a plaque now?
I do
or-
so, yeah. It's in the mail.
Excellent.
You get to
excellent.
guess first on the German word of the day.
Oh, I forgot
Speaking
about
of
that
which-
again.
You stepped
haven't
in that
been
one.
Brushing up. Okay, German word of the day is Schlittschuhlaufen.
Wow.
Schlittschuhlaufen.
Schlittschuhlaufen.
Do I get points for being able
Schlittschuhlaufen.
to say it? Schlittschuhlaufen.
Schlittschuhlaufen. Yep, 1 point.
Schlittschuhlaufen. I am going to go
Schlittschuhlaufen.
with a chef's knife.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Great guess. Chef's knife.
Schlittschuhlaufen.
Okay.
Kevin, you went first last time. I will let you marinate on that a little
Thank
longer
you.
this time.
Yes.
Schlittschuhlaufen.
Schlittschuhlaufen.
Man, I feel like if I had a little more time, we could figure this
You
out.
probably could.
Because you got the Laufen and
Well,
the
you got
no, because we could take German lessons.
Laufen. Yes, right.
because we could just Google
I could
it.
just ask some people
Yeah,
at the bar.
I'm already
Schlittschuhlaufen.
Googling it to show it to him.
I'm going to say a slippery slope.
Okay.
Ooh.
Slippery slope.
Slope.
All right.
Got it.
I'm going to call... I want to say that this is... it's a phenomenon that occurs after consuming alcohol. I'm going to call them beer giggles.
Oh, all right.
The beer giggles.
Yeah, they're Schlittschuhlaufen.
I have... in about 3 more beers, I will have the Schlittschuhlaufen.
We call that a second episode giggles that we often get.
Yeah.
That is a really good guess because you got the Schlitz, which
Right.
is a beer
right.
brand, and the Laufen
guess,
has to be like laughing, right?
Sounds like it.
Well, we will find out, won't we?
There's a method to the madness.
Okay, everyone tune in to the end of the episode when I will reveal the winner.
Right. in
Did I
quotes.
say winner?
Somebody might
yeah.
have won? Oh, my God.
That
Wow.
would make Kevin
So-
a first 3-time winner.
No.
Oh, wow.
Speaking of winning the German word of the day, Tom Calhoun coming in here like the word was Tassa, and he goes, well, that means cup. And I'm like, son of a bitch.
Very
Tom
matter-of-factly.
Calhoun, you son of a...
Yeah.
I was
How
listening.
cool was that?
It was cool.
It was
Yeah.
great.
I was listening in the car to that one, and I could just feel the anger right out of Chris's eyes through the speaker.
I was like, well, it might.
might mean
it might mean
cup.
that.
That's when he had to
Yeah.
call
his
on
love
his
for
poker
Tom
face.
Calhoun almost faded with that.
Yeah, right. How could that ever? And Jared's like, well,
I
think it means cup, but I guess I have to get something different.
I'll just come up with something else.
You were a good sport, Jared.
Yes.
Yeah. Cup also because this guy knows it's cup.
Yes. Glass?
Yeah. So he was our first ever guest that got the German
Winner.
word of the day.
Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah.
Bam.
Now, I was telling Kevin before we started, I feel like when we had Tom Calhoun on, that was a long time ago, and that means it was even longer ago that Kevin was last here.
I know, right?
It's been a
long
while.
time. Yeah.
We
so
missed
what's
you,
new?
Kevin.
It
What's
has
new?
been a while.
What's going on?
Well, there's a lot going on. Been traveling and conveniently traveling on the dates when you guys picked to record the show.
Conveniently.
Well, look
Yeah.
how that worked out.
I was starting to get the message. It's like, oh, when do you want to Tom? Damn, that's when we're recording. See you later, pal. Polite way of giving you the hooks.
We caught on.
Yeah.
Oh, you hit first.
But no, it's been a great year. Things are rocking and rolling, and went out to Winter Park in Colorado. Went skiing with some college buddies. And it was
Nice.
a great time.
So you finally got your Colorado trip that you've been...
Got the Colorado. Well, see, my wife and I are going to do that Colorado
gotcha.
trip, but this was a Colorado trip that
Okay.
was enjoyable.
So you got to enjoy some Colorado time.
Yes, and we were at a brewery in Granby.
Okay.
No, where were we? I got to think about this. near there.
Okay.
Grand Lake.
Grand Lake.
Grand Lake.
Okay.
And having a drink, and I was enjoying some bourbon, and the guy who was kind of letting people in and moving chairs around and pushing a broom came up and asked me how I liked the bourbon, and I said it was good. And he said, well, I distilled it.
No way.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And it was
Sweet.
It was neat to see. And there's parallels, the hands-on.
Right.
So this guy had something to do with the place,
That's awesome.
And we chatted about that. So that was pretty cool.
So, do you know the name of it?
It's a super small batch that he just distills and serves at that particular bar.
Brewery / distillery?
Wow.
Or?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I have it written down. I have his card, actually.
Cool.
Ended up talking to the guy for quite a while.
That's awesome.
But then I drank a lot of his bourbon and don't remember a lot of the conversation.
Right?
It's funny how that works.
And plus, I was at altitude. That was the thing.
Oh, yes. It's the altitude that gets you.
Yeah, when we were there, it was the altitude that
Thin
got
air.
me. It was not the bourbon.
No, not at all. So yeah, that was fun. And then just the last couple weekends ago was in Houston, doing some what is billed as management training.
Okay.
And turns out it's a very deep, immersive personal growth program.
Really?
That I wasn't ready for.
You weren't ready to grow that fast?
No. Well, my wife Kelly went through this, and she came back and proclaimed to change her life. She's like, this is solid.
Really?
And she's like, you need to go. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with me? Arrogantly thinking, I'm fine. I don't need that. But went, and I was telling Jared before the show that it was a 4-day thing. So
Really?
a lot happened. But one of my biggest takeaways was that, and I'd heard this before, but our human operating system, our beliefs that we grow up with are like 40% written by the time we're 4 years old.
Wow.
And this isn't like religious or political. But this is like don't touch the hot stove.
Oh, gotcha.
These
Yeah,
little survival lessons that we learn. But today, we all are still running on code that was written by the time we were 4, right? So there are things that we all do at this table, everybody in the world does, that are based upon those experiences. And they might not be good for us. They might not be right.
I don't want to admit how old my code is, but it might be time for an update.
Well, so that's the thing, and I tried to put this in terms that at least I understood. But one of them, my specific example is, and Chris, you're kind of similar as a business owner. I generally work all the time, and it's not a curse. It's because I like what I do. I enjoy my business, and so I put a lot of time in it. But even like on holidays, it'll be like Christmas afternoon, and I'll feel this angst, that I should be doing something.
Sure. Yeah. Why am I not being productive right now?
Well, exactly, right, because there's people that rely on us and families and all that stuff. And so one of the exercises of this training was to kind of go back and reframe your childhood experiences and maybe rewrite some of that code. So the exercise was to, in a very specific situation, recall an important day as a kid.
Okay.
So a lot of us in the class chose, holidays, and I chose Christmas Day, right? And they're like, okay, well, let's talk about what that day was. Describe it vividly. And, it was snow outside and the fireplace and some music and my sister and I and presents and my mom and my dad was a police officer growing up, so about 9 o'clock in the morning, my dad would stop home, and we would open gifts and everything. And they're like, "Wait a minute, your dad would stop by?" Well, yeah, he was a police officer. He worked shifts, and so when you were growing up, that was your model. Is that somebody who worked every holiday? So that's why you.
That's
do that,
why
perhaps?
Yeah, maybe that's why you think you should be working right now because
Right.
your dad did.
Because that code was written when I was a
Yep.
kid. My dad worked every holiday he could.
Yeah.
And now today, cognizantly, I understand that A, he was assigned those shifts,
Right.
because that's what you do.
Yeah.
But B, he probably got paid double time and a half, to work Christmas days.
He was like, okay.
So it was good for him to do that for his family, but I didn't know any of that.
Right.
And
he knew he'd be able to stop by anyways and still get paid.
for sure, yeah, right. And so he was
Not all negative, yeah.
he was winning, and then he got to get away from his kids again, which is nice. Not have to clean up all the papers.
There's wrapping paper everywhere, honey. I gotta run.
Yeah, look at that. I just got a call.
Kids, you gotta clean that up.
Little turds, get out of here.
So to kind of unwrap all that, another thing that they discussed was focusing on the outcome. So whatever you're doing in life, if you focus on the outcome, you'll get to that outcome in a straighter line than if you get bogged down in details and
Here
other
and there.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So whenever you feel like you're in a project and you're not quite getting the traction, just focus on that outcome and you'll get there. So what I did is...
Maybe those little details aren't really all that important that you're stressing over right now.
There could be distractions.
Possibly. Yeah,
It could be,
Or
things...
there could be a different way around it.
For sure. Yeah.
You just got to come up with it.
So I applied that to my dad, and I thought, well, what was his outcome for choosing to work those holidays? And I realized that by the time I was in high school, he didn't work holidays anymore. So he achieved his outcome. He either figured, he didn't need to take those shifts, give those shifts to somebody else who's raising a family, and they need the money, whatever. And I was like totally cool with that.
Yeah.
So now, I'm working on that uneasiness so that I can enjoy.
Christmas,
Yeah,
you're just going to be like,
I'm coming to your house.
Okay, come on, let's go.
That's the idea. Be present.
Yeah.
Hang out with the family. Do your thing, and not have that voice saying you should be doing something else.
Right. That's cool.
It was pretty serious.
No, that's a good takeaway. The be present is an excellent takeaway. It's tough to do. When you so much stuff going on all the time,
there's distractions everywhere. You look.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And just be present and enjoy it, man.
And I think for me, it wasn't so much the distractions. It's that I have stuff to do later.
Right.
So I'm thinking about, oh man, when this is done, I got to do these 9 other things.
Yeah.
And then you miss this.
Yeah, and that's agreed. That's
It turns out Chris's dad drank year-round Oktoberfest. Who knew?
He would buy a year's worth of Oktoberfest
every October.
at the beginning of every October.
And by 4 years old, Chris just had
and
it
I'm just
ingrained in
like,
him.
why doesn't anyone make this?
That's
oh my
it.
God.
I
So
need
silly.
to make Oktoberfest all the time.
You're welcome, Dad.
Yeah.
Good job, Chris.
Figured it out.
Yep, thank you.
So 4 days, did you feel like it did something for you? It took something away from it?
Absolutely.
Great.
And the other thing that was interesting is, so Kelly went through it, and then she nominated another individual in our business to go through this, and right after her. And he came back a different guy.
Oh, yeah?
He was an individual who had some health issues and was kind of not really enthusiastic about a lot of stuff. And he's been back 7-8 weeks now, and he's down like probably 45 pounds. He does not do any of his destructive vices.
Wow.
His liver enzymes are safe again. His attitude, he's doing things. I mean, it was really an amazing transformation. But the funny part was that
That's cool.
neither one of these two individuals spoke about what happened at this 4-day thing,
It's an
right?
unspoken, yeah.
Well, so everyone's like, did you drink the Kool-Aid? Did you join a cult?
But you don't talk about Fight Club.
Right.
There's that too. And what I learned when I went through it is that a big part of why they're not sharing the details is that if anybody at this table, if you guys are going to go through this, I would be doing you a disservice by letting the cat out of the bag.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
If you went through this not knowing what's to come, you're going to get the most impact out of it.
Gotcha.
So they
Interesting.
kept tight-lipped.
Huh.
And then when I got home, Kelly and I kind of looked at each other like, oh, okay, now I got
That's
you.
why.
Yeah, right, now, yeah. But we all got different stuff out of it, but it was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, Rick, Chris nominated you for this training, so
Yes.
let us know how that goes.
So that's the reason I'm here.
Yes.
This is
Yeah.
how I
You
get
know.
the
Intervention.
news.
This
That
is
I've got
your
a lot of
intervention.
work to do on myself. All right.
This is your
Okay.
intervention.
All right.
For sure.
There's a car waiting out. There's a
There's a van waiting out
Dodge
front.
van outside.
It's idling.
There literally is a Dodge van
Lay
waiting.
down in the back.
Yeah, drove the van here tonight. so
Yes, I got to take a tour of the van. So
Yeah.
did Jared. It was awesome.
You got to sit in it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The 79. No.
That's it, yeah.
It's a 70.
It's
all right.
very
Yeah.
cushy. It's like spongy. Like even when you walk on that shag carpet, it's like spongy.
Yeah, it's like 2 inches thick of padding underneath that carpet, and it's crazy, which is good.
It's kind of weird because it looks old, but also brand new. Like a lot, like the seats look like no one sat in it, but it doesn't have that like it was made yesterday. Like it looks like it's from
Well, it's
79.
definitely styled from
Sure,
decades
yeah,
ago.
it definitely has the
Yeah.
style of that. It's just this kind of bizarre mix of like, it actually looks aged. I don't mean old like style. I mean
Worn
it
out.
looks aged, but also brand new. You know what I mean?
It's a time machine.
Yeah,
It really
that
is.
makes total
Yeah.
sense, Jared.
I mean, I'm on my fourth drink,
well,
so
I think I would get in that van.
you should.
You're
If
going
any-
to at some
Do you
point.
need some candy?
If Kevin ever stops offering you candy, get in the van, right?
just-
It's
In the
worth it.
van. All right. I can
No,
think I
it's
can
cool.
get on board with that.
That's for sure. So we went into a little more detail about that training experience on the V8 radio podcast that dropped today. So
Nice.
Oh,
if you're interested,
okay.
you can
I
hear a little more
noticed
about
that you dropped that about an hour after I already ran on the elliptical. Thank you very much.
Oh, now you got to run again.
Right?
I'm doing this for you.
Oh, this is for me, huh? I will not be running tonight. Thank you. That ship
Awesome.
has sailed. I'll try tomorrow.
I told Kevin I saw that it dropped. I hadn't had a chance to listen to it yet, but there were several topics teased on that description that sounded pretty good. So I'm looking forward to listening to it.
I am too. Yep.
Well, hopefully we don't disappoint.
We'll find out.
Now,
At the end of
Chris
the show.
mentioned when we said that we were going to have Rick on the episode again, all kinds of things to talk about.
So many things, yeah.
What do we have to talk about?
What? I don't have my phone in front
Well,
of me.
he always
need
has a
his
list. Where's his list?
Well, it's on my phone. But anyway, I do know of. Oh shoot! I was going to wear my corn hat. We're doing Mellow
right.
Corn Day.
Oh, Mellow Corn Day is coming up.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's April 6th. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
Let's talk about that. So,
Okay, let's do.
what is Mellow Corn for people who don't know?
Oh my gosh! If you don't know what Mellow Corn is, you
I
better
mean,
find out.
I
Better
only
be here on
kind
the
of
sixth.
know. I only
Okay.
kind of know what
If
Mellow
you don't
Corn
know what Mellow Corn is, you need to come to Mellow Corn
Yes.
Day.
Yes.
All right.
You'll know all about it,
And you
So,
will find out everything.
It
you need.
is corn whiskey. It's not bourbon. It's not rye whiskey. It's not wheat whiskey. It's corn whiskey.
Like
Corn
it's
liquor.
100% corn, right?
No.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
It's so the government.
No.
Well, there is like 100% rye.
Hey,
isn't there?
Jared,
Yeah.
you're wrong.
Okay.
Well, it could be, but it's not.
It's not,
The legal
okay.
definition is it has to be at least 80% corn.
80%.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And it has to go into a used or uncharred barrel. So it's a lighter color, okay?
Yep.
And it doesn't have as much rye. So the other 20% you can do whatever you want with. Mellow
Okay.
Corn, I think, is 12% rye and 8% malted barley. I may have
Okay.
those flipped. I'm not sure. But either way, you got minimal rye spice and lots of corn, which is
Yeah.
sweet. So you have a lot of sweet going on. And that used barrel doesn't give a ton of oakiness, obviously, or color. So it's kind of a lighter colored whiskey. Mellow Corn is 100 proof. It's bottled in bond, so it's anything bottled in bond is 100 proof. And it's just freaking delicious. And it's like, I don't know, how much do we charge? $15? Something like 18? Is it even that?
For the Mellow Corn?
For a bottle? Yeah. Is
Oh,
it?
I was going to say, I was
For a
thinking,
shot.
I was like, 18 for a drink, for one pour?
Well,
I
no,
don't
the
think
bottle,
so.
It's
yes.
worth
That's a
that.
deal.
I would pay that.
I would.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
What's the brand?
Yeah, no, it's under
Heaven
20.
Hill makes it.
Oh, it's Heaven Hill?
I do
I-
see it on the top shelf up there.
Yeah, we
Chris.
put it front and center because
Yeah.
it's,
It is.
it's that
It's
deserving.
literally in the center of the top
see it,
shelf.
yeah.
I equate
It's
it,
prime placement.
whenever I'm just in the mood for some, sweet corn on the cob, but in liquid form, I
Okay.
go for the Mellow Corn.
Really?
Nice.
I- that's
a
my-
way to sell it.
We
there.
might need to pause this podcast.
Go over and get some.
I've
Ladies
never
and
had
gentlemen,
it.
we're experiencing technical difficulties.
See if you
Yes.
can call somebody over at the bar. They're 7 feet away.
Yeah,
Yes.
anyway, four some Mellow Corn, please. I'll
So,
see what I can do.
what kinds of things are we going to see on Mellow Corn Day?
That's a great question. We're gonna
Are
have
you going to serve mellow corn dogs?
no.
Oh, wow.
we thought of that. We're doing street
sure
corn
you did.
though.
Oh, right on.
We're doing
Corn.
popcorn.
Wow.
We're gonna play the band corn.
Candy corn?
The band
We're gonna have
corn.
candy
Are
corn.
you ready?
Are you ready?
That's fantastic. You're going to
yeah.
pull
And-
your
and-
socks and shoes off and show us your corn?
Oh, wow.
We're gonna
But
No.
we're gonna have a what's the foot doctor called?
The podiatrist.
A podiatrist. We're gonna have a podiatrist here with like the special chair and everything.
Yeah, and a file, some clippers.
File your corn
oh, dibs on the podiatrist role.
This just went
Do you wanna
south
do it?
fast.
Yeah. Okay, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And we have I found a really cool recipe for a drink. It's kind of like in the theme of an old fashioned, but it's supposed to taste like Mellow Yellow, but it uses Mellow Corn as the
Nice.
spirit. So
that's a great idea.
yeah, it should be really good.
You pair that with the street corn?
Yeah, get out of here. Right?
Oh, boy.
It's going to be good. So, yeah, we'll have cocktails. We'll be selling bottles. We'll be selling pours. We'll be Heaven Hill makes Mellow Corn. Heaven Hill also just started doing something called the Heaven Hill Heritage Collection, which is a one-time-a-year release of something just crazy and off the wall. And they do that like opposite their Parker's Heritage release. So I think Parker's Heritage comes out in like October. This comes out in March because I just got our bottle. This year, our bottle of that is 20-year corn whiskey.
Wow.
Which is
20
20-year-old
years.
Mellow Corn.
Holy
Yeah.
moly.
So a bottle in bond whiskey has to be at least 4 years old. So we know Mellow Corn's at least 4. It could be older.
Yeah.
But this stuff is 20 years old.
2002.
Now, do you get multiple
Yeah.
bottles of that to
We got
sell?
one bottle, and I was
One.
just asking Tammy today what she thought we should do with it. Because when we just get one bottle, yeah, we could throw it on the shelf and just sell it by the pour, which is fun. But we could also do it through Brown Water Society and let a few more people get to try it because those are half-ounce pours. But I think we're going to have it available on Mellow Corn Day. I mean, it's expensive stuff. Like, it's going to be $15-18 for a half-ounce pour of it. But it's going to be 20 years. I mean, where else are you going to get to try that? Yeah, that's the thing.
that I'd want to try it already.
I know. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited about that.
Man,
So, yeah,
so-
Mellow Corn Day is going to be a thing. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, Jared, you asked, and he delivered.
I did.
Now
yeah.
that's April 9th?
April 6th.
April
6th.
6th.
That's
April
coming up.
6th.
Next.
me
well,
put
when
that
is
on
this
my
dropping?
calendar.
Thursday. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to drop this soon. I'll try to get it out.
You won't need to edit anything on this
ASAP.
one.
Oh,
We're not,
yeah. I'll
we're
just
not
hit
going to cuss. We're not going to
nothing.
say anything we regret.
Not at all.
It is the second show of the night, so be careful.
Now, I do remember, I
Careful.
believe when Tammy posted about Mellow Corn Day that Stubborn German achieved something or some kind of recognition for like,
Oh, we did.
Congrats.
yeah,
Thank
Chris
you,
has
yes.
this totally confused look on his face. Like, what?
We're a pretty big deal. We are the number two selling Mellow Corn on-premise account in the state of Illinois.
Holy
that
mackerel.
includes the Chicago area. So, yeah.
Wow.
Good for you.
Good for-
us,
no, you
whatever
too.
we're saying.
You did
Now-
your part, Rick.
I push it as much as I can,
Good for
buddy.
all of us.
Do we know who number one is?
I almost didn't want to know because I'd just go up there and be like, hey, let me see your numbers, buddy.
Yeah,
What do you-
yeah.
Somebody's going to have
You're
a
hoarding all this Mellow Corn, I know
mysterious
it.
fire in
Well,
their
you
venue. It's
assume
marked.
that it's up there.
That's true.
Well,
it might
that's-
be.
I do
Yeah.
also
Might
assume
be
Chicago.
down.
but-
Yeah, but
here.
I'll tell you what, man. You being a Chicago area native, they don't know anything about corn.
They have
Oh,
no
you're
clue.
right, Kevin. It's probably from somewhere south.
It's probably Springfield or
appreciates the
something.
corn.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be south of Springfield.
You think?
We
Way south.
need this information.
I mean, because right here, not far, I mean, a stone's throw away from this brewery lives Mr. Kenny Hartman,
Yeah.
who is and was, I don't know if he still is, but on the national board of corn growers for the country.
Well, we need to get him in
We should.
for Mellow Corn Day.
Yeah, yeah.
So if
he
you're
could
an
sign autographs.
If you're an investigative reporter, we really
Sign
want to
bottles.
know where the
probably
number
my
one
son
Mellow
Cobbs.
Corn seller is.
It turns
Well-
out it's outsiders.
It's just across the
They're
square.
number
Outside of
one.
the
Who would have
courthouse.
thought Waterloo is like the hotbed for
Right.
Mellow Corn?
It
No,
is- it
so
is a
I
But
don't-
that is cool.
I don't know the name of the account, but I do know that he said if you buy 3.5 more cases, you're number one. And I'm like,
Dang.
That's not far away.
All right,
or,
folks.
Or is this a sales tactic
could
to move
be.
3.5
Yeah,
more
it
cases?
could be.
And all you got to do
Now-
just buy these, and then you're number one. pal.
I know they're commission based, and there cannot be much commission given on
On 3.5
Mellow
cases
Corn.
of Mellow
because
Corn.
I know how cheap that stuff is.
Yeah. You know. So what you're saying is we need to move some Mellow Corn here at the bar
I need all the help I
and
can
get you into number one.
We can do
All
it.
right.
We
April,
can
April
do it.
6th.
We will make a plaque.
We'll
if
do
we-
it on
make-
Mellow Corn Day. Let's do it, folks.
We'll award ourselves our own plaque.
Bring your dry cornholes
That's right.
and fill them up.
But that is cool. That is, I believe, next Thursday. Is that right? Or,
It is.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
next
it's
Thursday.
coming up soon.
Yeah,
so
as we record,
will
I
get
just put
this,
it on the calendar.
I'm going to drop this episode soon, probably over the weekend. So coming
gonna,
up, folks,
it's going to be corny for sure.
it will definitely be corny.
Oh my gosh, the best thing.
oh man, here it is.
Tammy's mom has a whole bunch of these really, really lame joke books.
Oh,
and we're going to spread them out on all the tables, and everybody can tell corny jokes all day.
Jokes. Yes.
It's not bad.
It's going to be stupid.
That's good.
That's fantastic. Well, okay, so changing gears just a tad.
Do we have to?
When I arrived here tonight, there was a bit of an event going on over there in the brewery. What was happening?
That was the Buffalo Trace single barrel select live stream. So I don't know how far in the weeds we want to get, but long story short, anyone can sign up. You get points as you sign up. Every point is an entry into the drawing to potentially get to go down to Buffalo Trace in Frankfort, Kentucky, and select a barrel of either Buffalo Trace or Weller or E.H. Taylor, Eagle Rare Blanton's. And so they're going to do these drawings, I think, quarterly. This was the very first one they did of this format. Yeah. So we were just kind of, no one really knew what to expect. But yeah, it's kind of it's a nice way for Buffalo Trace to capture their audience's attention for a whole hour, talk about how great they are, which they are great.
I mean, there was like 6,000 people watching that live stream.
I thought it was like 7,000, but
it probably fluctuates.
I thought you meant in this building.
In this building alone.
52,000 in the building.
It was tight. It was packed.
Yeah, there were a lot of people watching, and I think there were 200,000 plus entries into the. So, like, I have 8 entries. If you just sign up, like today, I think you get 2 or 3 entries or something like that. So, like, you know, that's what goes into the 200,000. But yeah. So, long story short, none of us got barrels on this one. One guy sitting at the bar though was one number off.
One ticket off.
Like his number was 15,922.
Yeah.
And 21 got a barrel. So he's just like, oh, so close.
Yeah.
So we were right there.
Now I will expand a little bit on what Chris explained about this. I hope I'm right. So
I'll let you know.
What Chris and Tammy had asked, for people who aren't really sure, there's the Brown Water Society, right?
Yeah.
It's a bourbon club, basically.
Sure. Yeah.
But they meet up here at Stubborn German. Many of the Stubborn German proprietors and employees are members of this club.
Right.
And there's, like over 500 people
on the mailing list.
In the mailing list for the club.
For the club, yeah.
So Tammy had asked people in the club, hey, sign up for this Buffalo Trace lottery, and if you get your number or name drawn, then, buying a barrel of bourbon is expensive.
Right.
So, like, if Rick gets his name drawn, Rick's on the hook for $5,000 or whatever, then he's got to go buy a barrel.
Triple that.
And
right.
15 grand.
I do love bourbon. However, I'm not so sure
you're going to get 120 bottles of whatever.
Storage space at home will hold a barrel.
So it's just not practical for your average Joe to get their name drawn for a barrel pick.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we have Stubborn German. Chris and Tammy step in. And if anybody
thankfully, we're doing the Lord's work
gets
here.
their number drawn, they will then buy the barrel, right? And then they will sell it to either the club
and that's
or
the way
customers or whatever.
It has to go through the 3-tier system. So Buffalo Trace is the producer. We would be the retail or the wholesaler. Or the wholesaler would sell it to us, and we're the retailer.
And you're the retailer.
So it has to go through all 3 tiers, and then you can buy it from us, a retailer. You could, first someone has to get picked. So we would iron all that out later. I would just request, if you're using us, that I get to go on the barrel pick trip.
Yeah.
Because I'm dying to go to Buffalo Trace to pick a barrel. I think it'd be awesome. So one of these days.
So that's nice. It pools the resources of everybody to increase the odds.
Yes.
But at the same time, then you guys got up and started calling numbers too. Names. Here.
Yeah. Well, we had saved... since we knew we were going to do this, we'd saved all of our Buffalo Trace bottles that we'd gotten in through distribution, and the Weller Special Reserve bottles as well. So we were drawing names for people just sign their name and to see who would get the chance to buy one of those.
Yeah.
So not a freebie, but you got something cool that I don't know. I mean, Buffalo Trace is on the shelves and off the shelves and on the shelves and off the shelves.
Yeah, you just got to walk in on the right day when they've got a case of it sitting there. But
so it's not like, oh my God, we're selling Buffalo Trace.
Well, you say that, but at the same time, it is kind of hard to find at any given time. You're not for sure going to be able to get it, and definitely Weller Special Reserve is that
guaranteed. Tomorrow, somebody's going to walk in here and say, "Do you have any of the Buffalo Trace that didn't get sold last night?"
Oh, that will happen.
Guaranteed.
You know that's happening.
Good strategy, by the way.
Right.
That would be, yeah.
And also much appreciated that you guys aren't jacking the price up to the prices that we see at other places when a hard to find bourbon.
No, it's all at
sells
retail
for
prices.
double. Yeah. So
no,
your
we don't-
customers appreciate that.
Yeah, we don't screw around with doing all that. That's
Right.
That's no bueno.
No, yeah. Got to encourage the participation.
That's right. Yeah. Some stores will get these, hard to find-ish bottles. Like they'll sell a regular bottle of Buffalo Trace for $40-$50, and it's like, do you really need to screw everyone that walks in the door here?
Right.
Yeah.
I used to pay that for whatever bottle I could find. I'd pay it, and lately I'm like, you know what? I know that I'll find something else for the same price. It's just as good. I'm not
for sure
not getting raked over the coals anymore. So I appreciate it sincerely. It's great. Walk over to the bourbon cabinet over there and pick out something for a reasonable price.
Yep. Right.
Well, and again, one of the things that we talked about a long time ago on this show is that just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's good. And the flip side is there are things that are not expensive that are very good.
For sure.
Hence, top shelf Mellow Corn.
There you are.
Front and center.
That's why it's there.
Now, along the lines of barrel picks and Brown Water Society, we recently did the Stumpy's Distillery.
Yeah, we did.
Kind of, how do we describe that?
Well, okay. Well, let's go into that a little bit. So I talked to Adam with Stumpy's, and we had kind of been kicking around this idea that what if he made us an entire batch of bourbon that we designed, like as a club, as the Brown Water Society.
Ooh.
So we did that. We put together a survey, and I got with Adam, and I said, what are all the key control points that are, easy to change that wouldn't, really mess things up? You know what I mean?
How can we not ruin this?
Yeah. So he gave us some options. So everything from the mash bill, like the actual recipe itself, to different types of barrels it's going to go in, all kinds of fun, interesting
aging. How long is it going to age?
Aging type things. And so we finally it took a while to do all this and then get on his schedule and get to where we could all make it. So we kind of sent an email out to the Brown Water Society, said who would want to go and be a part of this, and we set up 3 different shifts throughout the day and got our members in there to actually go through a nice tour with Adam. It was while he was distilling our bourbon, so it's there's your bourbon. And,
that's cool. They were there for it.
Got to taste the White Dog coming off the still. So before it went in the barrel that distillate, we were you stick your finger there and just taste it, and so that was really cool. And
the White Dog.
I've tasted
Dog,
White Dog before, and that was the first White Dog I tasted and thought, "Ooh, can I do that again?"
This is pretty good.
I would drink
Yeah,
this.
that was enjoyable.
Do we know the origins of the term White Dog?
Well, I think it bites you like a dog, and it's white. It's not. It's clear. It's not.
It's clear. Yeah.
It looks just like water.
There you go. Gotcha.
And I remember when you sent out those emails to the Brown Water Society, the survey of what do you want this percentage of rye or whatever, and I don't think I've ever stressed about an email survey as much as my answers on that one.
Yeah.
I mean,
can't mess this
erase
up.
marks were everywhere on my form.
That's great.
I'm thinking too hard. I should just go with my gut. So
now how did you guys? You had to go through how many surveys and come up with the answers, right?
Well,
you average things out or
There's these
whatever.
things called a computer, and they just give you the answer.
Okay, so
at
it
that.
just
Look at
averaged it for you and told you this is what people want.
I say that, but I did have to actually manually look at everyone on one question because we didn't set up the survey the best way that we could have. So one of the questions was, do you want a wheated bourbon or do you want a traditional bourbon with rye in it?
Yeah.
So most bourbons have rye as a portion of the a small portion of the mash bill. And a few only have wheat instead of rye. So that was a question. And then the very next one was, how much of either wheat or rye would you like in there? Well, and then I was like, well, I should throw all the wheat answers out, right? Because why would I take they think it's wheat, but they're not.
Good point.
So rye won, so I had to go through and kick all the wheat out and then average the rye together. So that's what we did.
Gotcha.
So
our
if you
mash
voted
bill,
for wheat, I'm sorry.
sorry, you don't count.
Yeah.
we did 70% corn because bourbon has to be at least 51% corn, and 20% rye, 10% malted barley. So really easy 70, 20, 10.
Yep.
It was and we picked it. That was our mash bill, and
So Stumpy's is cooking this now.
it's I believe it's in barrels or it's in a tote waiting to go into new barrels. So
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough to be able to go to the distillation day.
Yeah.
And the tour was awesome. Adam, I mean, it was great.
Adam's
he did
a pro, man.
He did a
Yeah.
great job breaking it down for someone like myself who
Yeah.
knows nothing about distilling. And, interactive and letting us chat and try the White Dog and showing us the Stumpy's area. It was really cool.
yeah,
But I don't remember how long he said it would be before they put it in barrels.
20 years.
I thought that he said it was at least a couple weeks because the issue was they didn't have the barrels
Right.
on hand to put it in.
Yes.
So they put it
That's-
in these big plastic containers,
yeah,
basically.
IBC totes. Yeah,
Yeah, and then and how long ago was it? 2 weeks, 3 weeks
No,
Yeah.
it was longer than that, wasn't it?
that we went there for distilling? No.
2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, something like that. But anyway,
You said you think it's barreled already?
I
Maybe.
actually don't think it is because we were going to discuss the barrel entry proof on that and changing them a
right.
little bit. So, and I haven't heard from that. So we'll
Yeah.
see. I did kind of tell him what we wanted, but yeah, either way.
So the idea being
That was fine.
that there's going to be a bunch of these barrels. What, 10?
Like
Is
10,
that right?
Yeah. So
Wow.
we made 10 barrels
a lot.
of bourbon.
That's a lot,
for
yeah.
the Brown Water Society.
Yeah.
yeah, and we'll be able to pull them. So 2-3 years in, we'll kind of start tasting them
Right.
and seeing is there anything that's ready now. Like
Yeah.
in 3-4 years, you're talking like that's when most
Yeah.
4-year-old is probably typical for like bottom shelf bourbon or whatever.
Yeah.
So we could totally be pulling some bourbon off it in 3-4 years.
Now, Adam was saying, I guess their rick house they don't rotate, so
Right.
certain things, it's going to be hotter in this
Yes.
corner than it is in that. There's more airflow here than there is
Yep.
over there, and so you're going to get very
Yeah.
different aging. So some
Yeah, 'cause
places
he was
might be
talking
ready
about
yet.
dispersing them
Yeah.
throughout
He's
the different
doing
areas.
the shotgun
Right.
approach of just
Yeah.
they're all
That
over.
is cool.
Yeah.
It is cool.
That is
And I
really
assume
cool.
when you say we get to taste them, that it means we here,
just us four.
Just
Yeah.
the four of us,
Right.
right? Okay, good.
I'm
I'll
totally
be,
down for that.
I'll be waiting for my phone call.
I had nothing to do with the construction of this, but I will be there.
But you will taste it.
But it is kind of cool to think at the earliest, we're talking 2 or 3 years before
Right.
we get
Very
that phone
earliest.
call or email to say, hey, let's taste this.
Yeah.
And as long as 10 years, I mean,
15,
who
20,
knows? Yeah,
whatever
however
he
long.
wants.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's all of a sudden there is a connective anticipation amongst all the Brown Water Society members that played along with
Yeah.
this,
Right.
And they all are waiting for the same thing.
Oh, me too. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that's really cool. And I know, as evidenced by this podcast, a couple years goes by pretty quick. So
Yeah,
that's a
for
good
sure.
thing.
Yeah, right. Well, and it's like you literally get to play distiller, like as everything from designing what we're actually making and planning it out for the future. And then you also, just like the distiller, have to wait years before
Yeah,
you get to
right.
drink it, or sell it, buy it, whatever, however you want
And
to call it.
that's the part I don't care for.
No, I want it right,
Right.
now.
The waiting is the hardest
Can we just
part.
trade it for somebody else's bourbon that's already done?
Yeah, instant bourbon. So I might be jumping the gun, but is there a name?
No.
You know, I
I know I
wondered
got a
that
couple-
too.
I got a couple years
Is
that-
this just going to be called Old
Brown
Monroe?
Brown Water.
Stumpy's Old Monroe? Or is it going to be
think,
ours?
I think that's the plan for
Probably.
now anyway, but you
Might
know,
have
the-
a stamp on it.
yeah, they're
Brown
doing
Water
some
Society.
different things, and who knows? But in 4 or 5 years, when we really start doing this, they might very well have something that this fits right into, or we have 5 years to come up with our own stinking name and
Now,
call it whatever we
Adam
want.
mentioned something.
Submit that to the Facebook page.
That's
now.
right.
Yeah, we'll do a survey.
Heck yeah. You can go through every one of them and throw them all out that you don't like.
This is terrible.
Shockingly, Chris's suggestion
That's
won.
right.
Yeah, again.
Called Stubborn Bourbon.
Stubborn bourbon. Oh.
Bourbon.
Adam mentioned something on our tour. I'll call it a tour. It was mostly just hanging out for 3 hours or whatever. But
Right.
anyway, that I found interesting. So people that are new to bourbon, like I kind of am, or I guess if you've been around a long time, the prices have gone up, right?
Yeah.
So stuff that you could buy for $30 last year is $40 now or more. Stuff that was easy to find a couple years ago is impossible to find now. And Adam mentioned something about the price of a barrel that he pays. So we're talking an empty barrel that he's putting his whiskey in was, I think we can get it. Can I talk about the actual
I
prices?
think so, yeah.
He said when he started, 7 or 8 years ago,
Yeah.
it was $180 for him to buy a charred oak barrel, new charred oak barrel. And it's now $350, almost
Holy
double.
mackerel.
And that's his discounted price for being an existing distiller, where he said, there's all these new distilleries popping up all the time.
And they're paying more than that.
even more. He mentioned there's barrels that get shipped over to, I think he said Spain, and the oak gets shipped over there, American oak, and then they build a barrel and ship it back, and those are like $500. And so if you think about, on average, 120-ish bottles come out of a barrel, they have to pass that cost on to the customers. So
part of the
just
thing.
the price of the barrel alone is going to add $10 or $12
Never
to
mind
your bottle.
the cost of the raw
Right.
ingredients
Right.
and labor going way up, and
So I never thought of all that.
Utilities.
I figured it was all just demand based. More people are into bourbon, the price goes up. Okay.
I think normally when you have just a nice gradual steady increase of
Yeah.
all that, but when you just have a spike like we've
Right.
had,
Yep.
I mean,
That's crazy.
that's how Mellow Corn that used to be $9 is now $15. I mean, what's this world coming to,
That's right, man. The world's a crazy place these days.
right?
But yeah, so that was neat. And Rick and I were both there for that distilling day, which was cool. You were there all day, right, Chris? We were one of the shifts. You were all of the
I was there
shifts.
the whole time.
Is that where you got that nifty hat?
It is. I got this
Oh,
hat.
you got it
this
there?
It's a
Stumpy
good looking
hat
hat, yeah.
on distilling day.
It's not
Yeah, it
required that you buy something out of the gift shop when you
No,
go to
but-
Stumpy's as part of the BWS, but it's encouraged.
It's appreciated. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Well, there's plenty of good stuff on the shelves.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's a good looking hat.
So
Well,
it is.
and-
I love
and
this
we
hat,
appreciate
actually.
them like opening up their place to us and all that. Like they don't have to do that. They could just have a regular work day, but it's like, I'm gonna entertain these.
It was
goons.
actually really cool when I got there. So I was the third shift of the day, third of three, so noon, I think.
something like that.
And
yeah.
I walked in the gift shop, and there's no whiskey on the shelves. I say no, there was no bourbon on the
Right.
shelves.
Yes, they
so
were
they
right
had
in
their
between.
flavored whiskey, and I'm like, oh man, I was totally planning on buying
Yeah.
something, and I'm like, there's nothing here. Well, while we were inside on our little tour, I saw them coming through. It was a couple cases, and it turned out, Steve Nichols beat me to it. Dang it! He got the first bottle, but I got the second bottle of
the new batch?
of a batch that was
just put together.
put together that day. Like
Yeah.
they just got it
Nice.
out.
Yeah, 'cause they were
that
like
day.
out. Well, they're
Yeah.
they're moving their bottling area, so they're in between bottling. So that was like hand bottled
Yeah,
stuff. That was
right.
like we just
Wow.
we
Yeah, because
just
he was
That
talking about
morning
it
they
that
bottled
day.
it. Yeah, it was cool.
And I worked here at the brewery the next day, and somebody that was here from St. Louis was talking about heading over to Stumpy's and getting a bottle, and I wanted to sound cool, so I threw in. I'm like, well, if you go get a bottle, that was literally bottled yesterday.
they
Yeah.
just did that.
So
yesterday.
you should
No
definitely
big
do
deal.
that. And they, I think I got some street cred.
Did they bring it back and have you autograph it since you knew all that?
No, I was hoping they would.
I saw the picture of
He's
him
a
holding the
brand
bottle on
ambassador.
Facebook.
Jared's autographed some
That's right.
whiskey bottles before.
I have done that.
Really?
I'm not sure
Yeah.
why, but somebody asked
He
for it.
did
I got to get one of those, man.
Yes.
an autograph. Jared
I got a
whiskey
couple
bottle.
autograph bottles on my shelf. I like them.
Hey,
So,
yeah.
I mean, you'll just sign any old bottle.
Anyone
huh?
you want me to
All
sign,
right,
I'll
all
sign
right.
for whatever reason. Yes.
Well, Chris,
But it was cool.
Chris was the one that turned me on to that idea of refilling the signed bottle.
Oh,
yeah,
there you
yeah.
go.
Drink the okay.
Yeah, drink it
If
and-
someone gives you a special bottle or
Yeah.
a logoed bottle or it's been etched with your name or something, that's super sweet. And I know you want to keep the bottle forever. Just open it and drink it and refill it with whatever. Like there's no reason
There
not to
you go.
drink that. Drink it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I'm
thought you meant
keeping the
don't throw it
bottle.
out. I'm drinking it, Chris.
Yeah, yeah.
Come
Okay.
on.
All right.
Don't
Well, I
get
just
me
want to make
wrong.
sure because some
Yes.
people are like, "Oh, I don't ever open this one because
No.
just open it."
No,
drink
there's
it."
goodness inside.
I do have a couple bottles that I don't want to get rid of for whatever reason. One of them was I've got the signed one from Wilderness
Oh,
Trail. I've got our pick from Wilderness Trail. But I never thought about actually refilling it with more Wilderness Trail.
Right.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
buy them to leave on the shelf
Yeah.
unopened. If it's
Right.
unopened,
Oh,
it's
I'm
because
drinking it.
I just forgot to open it before I put it up there.
I still
Normally
have
I
that.
twist the top so nobody comes over and says, "Oh, you haven't
Yeah.
opened that one yet." I don't want to
Yeah.
hear that.
Right.
So I'm going to change gears just a touch.
Yep.
But
Do it.
how is the bourbon B&B experience going?
Really good. I actually was just there last week, so and I went there for fun. Normally, if I'm there, we're doing a barrel pick, which is like, really serious.
Is that not fun?
Work? No, it's not that much fun. You have to taste it. No, it's awesome no matter what.
Yes.
But I didn't have a barrel pick lined up, and I just wanted to go down there and use the house for fun instead of work on it, because I've just been constantly going down there to work and do something to get it going. And it's just let's get some buddies together. Let's just go
chill out.
Yeah, drive around, check out some distilleries. So we checked out some places that I haven't been to before, and that was a lot of fun to see something new. And we had a good trip. But I mean the calendar for the house, the Stubborn German House of Bourbon. There are months that are completely booked up, and then there's months that have nothing. So it's kind of crazy the wave that it goes through. I thought it would be more just kind of consistent and spread out, but literally in April, I don't know if we have a single reservation in the month of April. So if you want to go to the Bourbon Trail in April, get on it.
Get on that. Now, I want to say you guys have been posting pictures of the progress and everything, and I had stayed there with you many months ago, and it was really cool. One of the last things you did was the front porch.
Right.
And one of the latest pictures Tammy posted was the front of the house.
Yeah.
It's not even, I don't even recognize it. It looks
way
like
different.
a different house.
It looks like a whole
Oh
different
my God.
place.
Yeah,
It looks
it
amazing.
looks great.
Much
It looks like
better,
you guys did a good
It
job.
looks like it's done.
Well, yeah. It
We
looks
just need. I
really
planted
awesome.
grass. The last trip
Yeah.
I was there to work was literally me planting grass and spreading straw out, and then I pulled away and went home. So, we just needed to rain down there, and it'll have a yard. So,
Yeah. But the backyard looks very different, too. The cool
it's
gazebo
all-
and swings and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's-
wasn't there when I was down there.
oh
so,
yeah, nice.
It looks great.
I can never remember when people go or whatever. So that's cool.
And, for anybody listening, kind of on the fence, should we go down and rent a house? You should definitely do it.
yes.
It was
I
so...
thought you were going to say no.
No. I mean...
Without a doubt.
Find a Super 8.
Yep, without a doubt, get off the fence. It's totally worth it. It's a great location and a great place to stay.
And honestly, what I find is that people are not so nervous about taking a long vacation to go down there. It's more like they're overwhelmed with the possibilities of distilleries to go check out, and
too much to do.
there's so much you can do. But I can make that easy. I've been down there. I mean, probably I don't know 30 times at this point. By either for working on the house or for doing tours. And I put together tours and trips, the itineraries that logically fit in that order.
Yeah.
So I can literally plan your tour if you book our house,
Which is one of the perks of booking the house. is
Yeah,
that
I would take
Chris will
advantage
do
of that. It is overwhelming when you look at all the options out there. Because I planned our trip, and it is a stressful thing, but it doesn't have to be, especially if you want to take some advice.
Your first or second time down there, you don't know what's next to what and what order you should do this stuff in, or
and I can't wait to go again because it's going to be great. It's great.
Yeah, it's always fun down there.
Yeah, that paralyzing fear that there's too many things to do, so you do nothing.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like what my wife and I did in Colorado.
So we're gonna just not even do anything.
Yeah.
I know.
That's great.
Yeah. So it's going good.
All right.
Cool. Well, our listeners have a paralyzing fear of not getting the German word of the day
This guy's
correct.
been practicing. That was fantastic.
I feel like we need to put them at ease.
He had to be the host the last 2 months.
You're doing great. man.
He's on the
Kevin.
ball.
Oh
Sure.
man,
Love that.
keep stalling actually because I'm not
I
there
mean,
yet.
He's got to remember what it was.
Okay, here it is. I got
But
it.
before you get to that, I do want to say that there is a, we're starting to get into the election cycle here in the United States, and there's a great campaign sign on the wall over there.
I've been staring at that the whole night going, can I put that in my yard? I love it.
normally do.
Evan Williams and Elijah Craig, 2023.
I'm writing them in. I am writing them in.
Yeah, you
Yes.
should write it, Elijah Craig. And
Proving America is great. I love that. Fantastic.
Yeah, proof American. The proof. That's
Proof,
awesome.
yeah.
All right, German word of the day was Schlitzullaufen.
Right.
Schlitzullaufen.
Happy beers.
Happy Schlitzullaufen.
Thank you.
Rick said that was a chef's knife. Jared said it was a slippery slope. And Kevin said the Schlitzullaufen is the beer giggles.
Now, can we start to evolve this contest a little bit? like golf, like the closest to the hole wins. Right?
We don't have a lot of winners, I will say.
So instead of like standing up and being so excited, I'll just like golf clap. Nice.
Well, you can do that, but instead of a yes or no, it's
Okay.
well, you're
Closest
close
to the
enough.
pin.
All right,
Well,
well,
it's not bad.
Schlitzohlaufen means ice skating. So who wins that? Who's
Ice
closest
skating. Let's see.
Beer giggles.
Slippery.
slippery? Golf clap for
Jared.
Jared.
Yeah.
See, I was
Golf
thinking
clap for
that a
Jared.
knife's pretty sharp like a
Knife
skate.
has an edge on it, like a skate.
Okay, if we want to be creative.
wow.
No, we're not doing that. That's terrible.
Participation trophies. Everybody wins.
Everyone wins.
Except me.
Everyone gets to go home early from school on
Because it rained.
For a
'cause
gentle
it rained.
breeze.
Yes.
Nice breezy
man.
day.
Turned out to be windy today. Let's get the
Yeah,
kids out.
cancel everything. Oh, man.
They're all delicate.
I think a
little,
70-degree Friday had something to do with that too. You know what? We could send all these kids home.
Yeah, let's try that.
I mean, that's what I was thinking. Like, for work, but
Schlitzhaufen was ice skating?
Schlitzohlaufen was
Schlitzohlaufen.
ice skating.
That's not a bad one.
There was no theme there, right? Did you just randomly come
That
up
was
with?
random. I got to keep you honest.
Okay.
All right, so
I didn't
wait a
know if
minute.
Rick had like a history of ice skating.
He's,
or
he's a nice dancer.
But he was struck by
actually.
lightning.
I can
Who
ice
else
skate,
has been struck
but
by
yeah,
lightning?
and
You
I
gotta tell-
was struck by lightning.
So we need to hear that story.
Okay, yeah. So I'll try to keep it real quick because I like to talk a lot. But anyways, I was growing up and I was camping. We were all out camping, and this massive thunderstorm comes
Where were you camping?
through northern Wisconsin. So we're all hanging out under this little tarp.
It's a high conductivity area.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we're sitting under this tarp, and it's pouring down rain just like it was today for about 30 seconds. And I heard the loudest sound I've ever heard in my life. And it turns out it was the lightning, and it hit this super tall tree that was next to the tarp we were standing under. So the lightning comes down the tree, and some dope had put a nail in the tree, and it wasn't us, but the lightning energy hit the nail, and it dispersed. And so it came over to the tarp we were under, and it shocked us all. There was probably 10 to 12 of us under that tarp. And the way I'll describe it is I'm sure we've all seen it, but Looney Tunes, when they get struck by lightning and everything around them goes white and the skeleton pops up and they go, yee!
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what it felt like.
Oh man!
And I woke up on the ground crying like crazy. I was probably 9-10 years old. I couldn't feel my leg. I couldn't feel my arm. And so my dad was in the campsite over. So he comes running over. They heard it all. He comes running over and he picks me up and carries me back to the camper in the other campsite. And there was a bunch of us over there, so there was all kinds of chaos. And I love my mom, and she looks at me and she goes, "You'll be all right. Just rub some dirt on it."
Yeah,
Be all right.
They grounded you. You were fine.
You seem fine.
Exactly. And I'm fine,
Yeah, he's fine.
Wow.
That's
But true
outstanding.
story, yeah. It unfortunately wasn't as awesome as the Great Outdoors.
Right.
I forget his name. What's the guy that gets struck by lightning 66 times?
Oh, yeah.
It was only once, but, it's not a bad story.
Well, that's nothing to screw around with. When I was a kid, a friend of mine had a cottage in Michigan. See, it's that north area. You don't want to be there.
There's a lot of lightning up there.
Yeah, and on a lake. And the next door neighbor's cottage got struck by lightning, and it blew all the nails out of the walls.
Wow.
So,
What?
yeah.
I've heard stories like that.
yeah, it's
Yes.
crazy
Holy cow.
stuff. So you're lucky you lived.
Yeah. I have no qualms about it. Yeah. So like days like today where they send them home early and stuff. The alternative is we're trying to pick our kids up in a massive storm.
Right.
I'd
Yeah.
rather pick them up early when it's calm because I'm still a little scared of lightning.
I bet. I wouldn't be shocked.
But
Oh, yeah.
That was terrible. On that note,
All right. Well, if you like that, you need to subscribe to the Stubborn German Podcast because it's really easy to do. You hit the button and whammo, here you go. Like a beam of lightning right into your inbox. You'll get the next episode. So we're going to share a little tradition we do here at the end of every episode for Mr. Chris Ron, Jared Chasson, and Rick Kleinschmidt.
Good
we
to
say,
see you again, gentlemen.
Prost.
Prost. So my brother was a science teacher before he's now graduated he's an assistant principal, but he led a kids hair on fire in his science class one day.
That's not
It's all in the
good.
name of science.
And now they gave him a raise.
Now they send them home.
And
And
for some reason, they got him out of the classroom.
yeah, now they send the kids home and it rains.
Yeah.
They used to be able to burn them down.
When there's a when there's a gust of wind.
Yes.
Go home, you precious little flower.
Right.
You little
The
delicate
good old
little,
days.
little boy.
Today we're going to learn about infernos.
Listen up, kids.
This is why you don't use hairspray. In my head now, every time I hear the word Prost, I go.
You got to get the band to play that here.